Nacho Sundays, every Sunday at 6 p.m. Live on YouTube on the EBL exclusive Battle League Network. Hosted by FiboNACCI Brown.
Nacho Sundays, Nacho Sundays, Nacho Sundays. Nacho Sundays, Nacho Sundays, Nacho Sundays. Nacho cheese, beefy, nacho veggie, nacho supreme, nacho Sundays.
Nacho Sundays. Where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. Hosted by FiboNACCI Brown.
Nacho Sundays. Nacho cheese, beefy, nacho veggie, nacho supreme,
Nacho Sundays. Where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. Hosted by FiboNACCI Brown.
Nacho Sundays. Nacho cheese, beefy, nacho veggie, nacho supreme, nacho Sundays. Nacho Sundays. Nacho Sundays. Nacho Sundays.
Hosted by FiboNACCI Brown. Don't forget to go to FiboNACCIBrown.com to get your copy of Growing Down.
Nacho Sundays. Nacho Sundays.
Brought to you by the exclusive Battle League Network. EBL. What up, dope family? Is my sound good? Can you guys let me know? Can you hear me? Is everything good? I had a little message up here about my mic. Who's in my chat? 702, can you hear me? Let me make sure. Trying to make sure my sound is good. All right, I got the thumbs up that my sound is good. So I'm going to get, first of all, this particular Nacho Sundays, we are going to dedicate to EBL Dave. It is his birthday. He is turning 38 years young, and we have been happily roasting him all day long. I know I have had a grand time letting Dave know how much his hairline with the kickstand in the front has entertained me over the last several months. And I hope that you too have taken part in the roast of EBL Dave for his birthday. We've also been running up his cash app at $Dave312. I hope you're doing the same. It's not too late to go and show him some love on his birthday. So in addition to it being Dave's birthday, they hosted a special episode of Wave and Blaze here on Sunday. We know Wave and Blaze never goes live on Sundays. So they did a special episode for Dave's birthday, but you can always catch Wave and Blaze starting at 7 a.m. Monday through Saturday. Most days, most Saturdays, Monday through Saturday, in order to catch up with Wave and Blaze in that game. Dave is going to fill you in on everything, probably except the weather. He's going to cover topics everywhere across the country and globally if it applies. So make sure you're tuning in, like I said, 7 a.m. Monday through Saturday to Wave and Blaze. We also want to make sure that you are pulling up to EBL on March 16th for the 2v2 card. They are having a 2v2 where teams of two will battle each other, and may the best team win for a pot at the end of the night. They are going to, from what I understand, they're going to be growing the pot all the way up until showtime. So from what I understand, the teams are going to contribute to the pot by paying an entry fee. And then there will also be accepting donations to the pot, like I said, all the way up until the day of the actual battles. So this is a 2v2 team. One of the teams that I'm anxious to see is FemC Squared versus New Death Row. That's going to be a female team versus a male team. I can't wait to see this one. I heard some of the semi face-offs both teams are serious. I don't think there is another team like that. I do think that there is a 2v2 team where there is a guy and a girl versus a guy and a guy, but I don't think that there are any other 2v2 teams where they have two girls versus two guys. So I'm really interested in this one to see how that goes. Also, hot off the press, EBL is also going to be bringing back 3-round battles. I hear they are setting up a card for April 16th. And on this April 16th card, they are going to be bringing back the 3-round battles. So I know EBL is definitely historic in doing the 1-round audio battles. They are the number one audio battle league, but they are going to be bringing back the 3-round battles starting April 16th. I can't wait. I'm excited. I can't wait to see some of the matchups there. Got to take a small water break. You know how they say in battle rap, got to get that water. Going forward, don't forget to tune in to 4th Round. They are going to be conducting interview series where they have interviewed the likes of Danny Myers. I also hear that A Ward is on the menu along with C3. If you haven't, please go check out that Danny Myers interview done by 4th Round. The hosts of that show are our friends over at Is We Poddin', and they did an excellent job on that interview. I can't wait to see the A Ward interview and the C3 interview. I expect nothing less than fire. So kudos to them. All right. I don't know if you guys pulled up to the Dave roast this morning. I had a grand time. First of all, let me check my chat, because a big part of my show is definitely the chat. So let me pull up with my chat before I go any further. I did call out 702 earlier. You were the first one to pull up. I appreciate you saying I'm here first, 0 no higher. Thank you for coming and showing me some support this Sunday. I appreciate you, Vicious. Let's go. That's right. Okay, SK. I'm gonna always check in and ask how baby girl's doing. I hope she's throwing more stuff across the room, letting us know she's feeling great. Okay, Mims, thank you for pulling up. I appreciate you. Okay, King Nacho Sunday. I know you. I can really hear you singing that. I know you singing it. Wayne caught that. I see you, Wayne. I'm crying. All right, Coach. Coach said, I'm about to go check out this show. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for pulling up to Nacho Sundays. Like I said, if you weren't tuned in this morning to Wave and Blaze, where they started out doing the roast of EBL Dave, you missed out, because I had me a grand old time. If you are not familiar with who EBL Dave is, get your Google on, check him out on Twitter. Today is his birthday, and Dave has a legendary widow's peak, and it protrudes from the back, or the mid part of his head, back here, like a bun. It started where a bun would start, and it comes down in a point like an anime character. And then his hair doesn't decide to fill in till it's right here. So it's like Afro loading, So we had a good time letting him know that we appreciate him, and we have been holding back the jokes specifically to make sure that he had a great birthday roast. So I hope he enjoyed himself. I know I had a good time, and please don't get it twisted. Once we are done on Nacho Sundays, we are definitely going back to the Discord to continue to roast Dave. And if I'm feeling real good, I might get a Twitter space going, or at least try to get one of my EBL family members to start a Twitter room. And we're going to continue to roast Dave for his birthday. So stay tuned for the afterglow. Like I said, I'm going to try to get that cooked up on a Twitter space. I'm sure Dave will pull up with no problem and enjoy all of the jokes to be had. So moving on to the nacho cheese portion of our show. In the nacho cheese portion of the show, we do talk about ways to passively make money or save money so that we can, make sure we got what we need to get through this thing called life. So into this week's nacho cheese, I want to talk to you about how to make some passive income on YouTube. Now, I know a lot of times people are making money on YouTube, you gotta build your platform, and you gotta get people to come and subscribe, and you gotta put out a lot of content, and it's just a lot of work that they don't tell you about up front. And I'm here to tell you that there are also other ways to be able to make money on YouTube without having to do so much of the legwork that's involved with growing a platform. So one of the ways to do that is you can create a YouTube channel. Here's a step by step, okay? Create a YouTube channel. Then you're going to go to freesound.org and type the sound that you would like to hear on repeat. Now, a lot of you who listen to maybe the sound of rain, the sound of the ocean, or the sound of maybe I don't know, birds in the jungle. Maybe you like to hear certain sounds that maybe relax you or just create a relaxing environment, giving you just the zen and the mindset that you want to be in. You can actually go onto this freesound.org and get a sound that you want to hear on repeat. And then you want to go to pixels.com and select a picture that matches your sound. So if you have the sound of the ocean, maybe you want to get a picture of the ocean or the picture of just, soothing water. If you have the sound of rain, maybe you want to go and get rain on a window pane or rain falling into a puddle or whatever you'd like to match up your sound with. You can go onto Pixels, that's PEXELS.com, and select a picture that matches your sound. So once you've done that, you want to upload your audio and your video to an Adobe Premiere or similar software. And in Adobe Premiere, you're going to loop your video along with your picture till however long you want your video to be. So I know a lot of times you go and look up these rain sounds and they have 9-10 hours of sound. You can actually manipulate how long you want your video to be. Maybe you just want 6 hours. You can put it into your Adobe program and loop it however long you want it to be. And from there, you take that and upload it to that YouTube channel that you created earlier. And boom, you've got something that people are going to go to and definitely play on repeat. And you can make passive income once your channel grows enough people who are putting it on repeat after time. It doesn't require that you go back and add a bunch of content. It kind of is the content itself. And if maybe you want to have different sounds on your channel, that might be a way to get people to make sure they come back to your channel, because they know they can get a variety of things if they, click on your channel, not just one sound or not just one thing. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I always wondered, what would make people put these videos of just 6-7 hours of rain. And it's because they are definitely clickbait. You have a lot of people who want to play things like that on repeat because they use them to unwind. Some people use them to sleep, use them to meditate. I've even heard they have bell chimes. You have these chime sounds, and they have those on repeat, and people use those for meditation or just use it as maybe ambiance or atmosphere sounds for their business. Maybe they have a spa. Maybe you have a spa where you get massages, and maybe you get your pedicures, manicures, facials, things like that. It might be a little added value to the ambiance if you're playing one of these sounds on repeat. So that might be a way to look into passive income. Maybe you have a business who is like I said, if they have a spa or some similar business, maybe they're going to click on your channel every day because you've got the sounds that kind of contribute to the atmosphere they're trying to create. So if you are interested in some passive income, again, you want to go to freesound.org to get your sound, pick your sound of choice. And then from there, you want to match up your sound to a picture that you are also going to loop with your sound. And you want to get your picture from pexels.com. That's FiboNACCI.com. And from there, you want to put it into the Adobe Premiere or similar app to be able to line up the audio with the picture, loop it, and then upload it to your YouTube channel. So if you try it, make sure you come back to Nacho Sundays and let me know how that worked out for you in the comments. I would love to be able to update people on Nacho Sundays of people who have tried some of the things that we introduced in the nacho cheese. And if it's actually working for them, I definitely want to pass that along to let people know that, you know, we do have people taking advantage of the things we share here on Nacho Sundays. So first or second of all, I want to thank you guys to Nacho Sundays. Thank you for coming. It's the 4th episode. I'm excited. You are on Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. I can't believe that we are 4 episodes in, like, and then for it to just still pull so much support. My chat is still going crazy. Matter of fact, let me slide over to my chat, because I see that y'all don't let me down at all. I see 2-1 is in my chat. Thank you for pulling up. This is like, you know, perfect attendance at this point. So I see you. I see King got the dancing emoji in the chat. He's lit. That's how he's telling us he's lit. Okay, King said, I sleep to the dryer and the hair blow dryer. So, King, this is what I'm going to suggest. I'm going to suggest that you slide over to freesound.org, pull up the sound of the blow dryer, and then create your own sound and matching picture where you could put it on your channel and, you know, start getting you some money. Because why not be able to, you know, you would at least use your own product or use your stuff on your own channel since you listen to the blow dryer. Oh my goodness. That's right. Let's learn something. Okay, Tim Good. King said he sleeps to the rain. Of course, I know a lot of people who listen to the rain, and I've been hearing a lot of people who meditate doing the chimes. So that's kind of like a big one too. Okay, Jules, I appreciate you pulling up to my Nacho Sundays 4th episode, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. All right, Diddy, I see you in the chat. Oh my goodness. Wayne said King gonna fall asleep trying. I'm crying. All right, you guys. So we are gonna move into the beefy nacho. Okay. In the beefy nacho on Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. We talk about conflict, beef in the world, wherever it may exist. And in this week's episode of Nacho Sundays, we are going to talk about selective outrage. That's right. We're talking about Chris Rock and his beef, or lack thereof, with Will Smith. And this being revisited because of Chris Rock's Netflix special, Selective Outrage. Okay. First of all, let me give my sub disclaimer. This is Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. Okay. And I think that the special Chris Rock did on Netflix was knee slapping hilarious. I enjoyed it. I think when he got to talking about some of the challenges with his daughters, that it might have felt kind of flat. It might have been a little too family friendly, and we had, you know, we're building up to this edgy moment. So I think it might have, it was funny, but I just think it might have been a little maybe misplaced in the skit in its entirety, because that seemed to be where the laughs tended to taper off, but not for long, because he picked right back up. And the way that he ended the special, first of all, if you haven't seen the special, I don't think you should be in here. Okay, this is definitely spoiler. Okay, so if you have not seen the special, I'm gonna give you a few moments to go and click out of here, because I'm about to talk about it. And I mean, All right, you should be gone by now. So the way that Chris Rock ended the special with specifically speaking about the incident with Will Smith, I thought that was great. I enjoyed it because he left it for last and he let it be known that he didn't have to surround his entire stand up with that topic, thus reinforcing his statement throughout the stand up that he is not a victim. However, I also enjoyed that he did drop little Easter eggs that led up to letting us know he's definitely going to talk about it. So there were times where he would say things like, he doesn't need any more rappers mad at him. And the jokes that he would tell would kind of lead up to maybe making a joke about a rapper, but you didn't expect that he was going to drop that. So he did that a few times throughout the stand up. And I think that by doing that, it was kind of a foreshadowing that he was definitely going to talk about the incident. So I like the way he structured the stand up to kind of tease us a little bit throughout and then give us the ending the way he gave us the ending. Now, some people were definitely saying that, Chris Rock should have let it go. Why is he still on this? This was so long ago. And to those people, I'm going to say, have a seat, be quiet, because this man hasn't said anything. What you're really tired of is what other people have said about it. You're tired of other people talking about it. And he hasn't really had an opportunity to speak about it the way that he wants to. And the fact that he was able to speak about it in a $40 million way, I'm going to say good for Chris Rock. So if you think that maybe he should have let it go and, he's harping on it, I think that you probably are just sick of other people talking about it. And the fact that we can hear from him how he felt and get it from the horse's mouth, stop the speculation, stop all the introspection and inner analytical thoughts we've had about it, and really just hear what he has to say. I think that he deserves that. He deserves our ear on that. And I'm not mad, and if he can get $40 million out of it for doing that, I would love to have a $40 million pay me problem, so kudos to him. Good for you, Chris Rock. Now, diving a little bit deeper into the dynamics of the Chris Rock Will Smith issue. Some of the things that Chris Rock said in his stand-up, he said that, and I'm paraphrasing, he said that everybody in this room has been cheated on, but none of us have been interviewed on live television by the cheater. So he went on to say, I don't, or something to the tune of, she hurt him way more than he hurt me. And the she he's referring to is Will Smith's wife, Jada. Now, a lot of the discussion around Jada's contribution to the slap it's really run the spectrum. And here on Nacho Sundays, where it's Nacho opinion is Nacho's opinion, I'm gonna tell you how I feel about it. I think that it might be a stretch to think that Jada shot Will a look of like a mother to a child, like, you better do something. Like, I think it might be a bit much to assume that she had that kind of impact in the moment. I'm not putting it past it, but I just think it might be a reach, considering initially they were both laughing. So I think that might be a reach. What I do kind of look sideways at Jada to say is, once you saw your husband had exited his seat, slapped a man, and then come back and sit down, do you think there was anything you could have done to maybe acknowledge the moment rather than seem to sit there to seem vindicated? Like, it just didn't seem that there was enough emotional support in that moment that could have encouraged a better response out of Will. So I don't think she did a good thing in that moment as a wife. My husband gets up, exits his chair at a gala tuxedo event and smacks the brakes off of somebody on stage and then comes back to his seat. I'm going to be out of my chair. I'm going to be talking to him. I'm like, honey, are you okay? Like, it's going to be a moment. I'm not sitting there, as if, I've been, somebody has conquered a victory for me. It just seemed weird. And even the joke itself that Chris Rock said, I don't think the joke was insulting enough. Again, I don't have a right to tell Jada how she should have felt about it, but I don't think I didn't see it as an insult. And a lot of people are like, everybody knew Jada Pinkett had alopecia. I didn't know. Jada been bald since forever and everything. She's always had short hair. Like, I didn't know she had no alopecia. Like, I didn't know. So, if he knew and joked about it, maybe it might have been a little distasteful, but I think the joke itself was the nicest way to kind of joke about something like that. I think if somebody would have joked about me and called me G.I. Jane, that's a compliment. Like, G.I. Jane was not nobody to play with. So the fact that he made that type of joke and, said that he was looking forward to G.I. Jane 2, to me, she should have probably worked that angle. You should be looking into G.I. Jane 2. I mean, if you're a beautiful woman, you're fit, and you're already bald, you're the part. Like, look into that. Stop trying to find an angle to be upset. So it just kind of seemed the response kind of seemed out of place to me for what seemed like a lighthearted joke. I felt like, considering it was Chris Rock, she was bald and in a long green dress. The Shrek jokes would have written themselves. So for him to just make it a G.I. Jane joke, I don't think it warranted that response. I don't think that anything he said would have warranted that response, because I don't see Chris Rock being that kind of disrespectful at an Oscars event. So I don't think he would have said something so disrespectful that it would have warranted a slap. I certainly don't think that what he said warranted the slap he got. A lot of people were saying that, you as a man, you have to protect your wife, and you've got to, make sure nobody else feels comfortable disrespecting your wife. But I think as a wife, you also have to make sure your husband isn't comfortable disrespecting himself in your name. And it just, to me, I just didn't get her response. I just didn't get her response to the whole thing. Then I started to kind of see things after the fact where it was like, Jada Pinkett breaks her silence after the slap. And I just never seen such entitlement. She breaking her silence. Like, you're not breaking any silences, Jada. Okay. Again, this is Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's not your opinion. Nacho's opinion, not your opinion. I don't want anybody to get in trouble for the things that are coming out of my mouth. Okay. So again, this is on me. And in my opinion, Jada, you sat at a table and interviewed your husband about you cheating on him, but calling you G.I. Jane crossed the line. Yeah, I'm letting it marinate. Make it make sense. And then you try, after your husband had this episode, you stuck a camera in his face on a Go Live to ask him questions about it, where he definitely expressed feelings of, I don't want to do this. And you were completely dismissive of how he felt. Here we go with this again. Like, I just don't get that you are built of the emotional support that was necessary in the moment for Will. And although I feel like Will Smith, you should have never put your hands on that man. You certainly shouldn't have slapped him. I think it would have been a little bit more dignified if you would have closed fist punched him. But to open hand slap him, I think it was intended to be disrespectful, because you might have thought in the moment this is what you needed to do to fulfill a moment, but I don't think you should have ever got out of your seat and put your hands on that man for what he said. And the fact that he didn't put his hands back on you, I think it speaks more to his character than yours. You went out to the after party partying about it, you and your wife, and Jada just she just, to me, she just didn't do the right things in that moment. She didn't do the things that were necessary to really come out stellar and graceful in this moment. It came off real sticky, real tacky. And I was just like, then you want to have the nerve to break your silence in the moment. Don't nobody care what you got to say, girl. Hush. Be quiet. Go be the wife your husband needs, and stop sticking go lives in his face and acting like you sick of him dealing with your mess. That's Nacho's opinion. Yes, we're on Nacho Sunday's 4th episode, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. And I said it, Jada. That's how I feel. Now, if I see some information between now and the future that changes my mind, so be it. But right now, in this moment, I don't like it. I don't like it, and I don't like it. Nah. And also, what I'm gonna say are there were several levels of wrong, okay, in this whole episode of Will Smacks Chris. Okay. The first is thinking the first level of wrong is Will thinking he was protecting his wife by doing what he did. I don't claim to know what was on that man's mind. I saw what he did, and I'm making a assessment that if that was the case, that he felt he was acting out of protection of his wife, he needs to understand that you could have just very well said something like you had already done when you told him keep your effing wife's name out his, whatever you said. That should have been enough, Will. The fact that you felt you needed to additionally get, like, you dropped a whole F-bomb yelling from your seat. That wasn't enough. You checked that man in a way nobody has ever been checked in any Oscars history ever. And you still felt the need to get out of your seat. So my opinion is that if you got up thinking that what you were doing was protecting your wife, you were acting out of insecurities in yourself, in my opinion. And that, I believe, doesn't really have Jada might irritate that, but that insecurity is yours to deal with. And if you think that the way to respond to your insecurity was to put your hands on that man, you're dead wrong. Okay. Another level of wrong, Chris should get over it because it was so long ago. We don't have to tell this man to get up. He might never get over being embarrassed in front of his family, in front of his children, in front of his mom and dad and daughters and wife. He might not ever get over that. And who are you to tell him he should? Have you ever been embarrassed on such a scale to even think that you should be able to tell someone how to deal with that? And to be able to still have some decorum about yourself, to say, I'm not going to violently respond back. So people who tell him to get over it, you have a seat. You get over feeling like that. That's what you do. Work on that. I really hope that Will can get the clarity he needs to be able to process this going forward. I also hope that Chris gets the same thing, to get the clarity he needs to process this going forward. I really, really hope that Will is not in a situation where he's being manipulated by a vanity spirit that needs things to look a certain way, and finds a celebrity moment in even the most hurtful of human experiences and emotions. I hope that's not what this man is dealing with. But like I said, I hope they get the healing that they need to be able to get through what they need to get through, to get past this moment, past the emotions that brought them to this moment, and on to being better people. I'm going to slide over to my chat. My chat is scrolling. Okay, thank you for pulling up, Nicole. I appreciate you. You've been holding me down for a couple of weeks. I can't say how much I thank you for doing so. And she's right, in capital letters. Hit that like button. You heard her. Hit the like button and share your on your platforms. Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. Hosted by FiboNACCI Nacho Brown. Jules, I see is holding it down. Okay, Jules was giving me some feedback. He said Jada does not respect Will, and I agree. I agree. If that's not the case, it definitely looks like that. If Jada does respect Will, it doesn't come off that way. It comes off like his emotions are exploitable. It comes off like he needs to kind of make a fool of himself in order to appease her in some ways. And I think that when they brought up that they had Jada and Chris had some kind of backstory because Will didn't get nominated for the Concussion movie. And as a result, Jada, I guess she asked or requested that some celebrities not participate in the Oscars. And Chris was like, girl, buy my coin. And she was offended or felt she took it personal that he decided not to go make money with the Oscars because Will didn't get nominated for Concussion. And she felt like this was an Oscar nominated movie. So if that was the backstory behind why she seemed comfortable in the slap, shame on you, Jada. Shame on you. And I think you should have a better response to Chris on behalf of your husband. If you wearing the pants in that marriage, why don't you stand up and say something that really sounds sincere for your husband putting his hands on that man instead of, we need both these men. Like, dude got assaulted on national TV by your husband representing you Smiths. So like I said, I really didn't like the wifely way she responded, but I don't know the whole backstory. I'm just saying what it looks like to me. And right now on Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. That's my opinion. So get back to my chat. Okay, Clip, thank you for pulling up. I appreciate you spending this time with me on Nacho Sundays. We have actually reached the halfway mark of our show. I am going to take a small break and we will be right back.
A woman is the most potent expression of feminine energy in the harmonic equation of the human experience. Growing Down, an observation of the masculinization of the Black American woman, Volume 1. Get your copy at FiboNACCIBrown.com.
You are now listening to the NACHO podcast, brought to you by the EBL Network. If it ain't exclusive, it don't matter. It's not your time to talk, it's time to listen. So pull up to the table with your plate and pay attention. It's not your time to talk, not your Sunday. It's something different. This is not your opinion, and you don't wanna miss it. It's not your time to talk. It's time for the show.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. This is my 4th episode, and I appreciate you guys for pulling up, listening to what I have to say on certain topics that fit into our nacho. And as we devour our nacho, we have moved into the veggie nacho of our show. during the Veggie Nacho, we talk about health, okay? Health wherever it may exist in whatever ways we need to talk about it to be better. You understand what I'm saying? So in this episode of the Veggie Nacho, we are going to talk about a very interesting topic, which is fentanyl and its presence in prisons. So one of the things that piqued my interest about this particular topic, I happened to be looking at reels on my phone. And there was a gentleman who said that he had recently been released from prison. And when he was released, he realized that he was dealing with a substance issue that he didn't quite know that he had. He said that he definitely partook in smoking weed. Some people smoke K2 in prison, and he was one of those people. However, he learned that some of these substances that were coming into the prison were being sprayed with fentanyl, or being allegedly being sprayed down with this fentanyl stuff. So the way he kind of put two and two together is that, you know, he found out from people who are in other prisons that people who were strictly marijuana users in prison were having these nod out spells where they were, you know, just falling asleep, you know, really nodding out. And some of us 80s people who grew up in the 80s and who are familiar with the times prior, we know that nodding like that is definitely a sign of an opioid, definitely a sign of H, you know, if you know what I'm talking about, H. Opioids is definitely a substance that will give that reaction. And considering that marijuana, K2, those things are not opioids, they really shouldn't have that reaction. So when they started putting two and two together, realizing, you know, it's not just the strongest of the strong that they're getting access to, that there's actually some chemicals that are being put onto these things that make them more potent and have a reaction that they shouldn't. So this gentleman went on to explain, yes, Jules, you're right. If you guys are in my chat when I was talking about what that was, Jules is correct. So this guy went on to, I see you, Clip, you're correct too. This gentleman went on to explain that once he got out of prison, he had been out of prison for 7 months, and he started to inquire like why this might, you know, be. And he found out that from some of the prison officials, this is all alleged, but some of the prison officials said that they are actually spraying things that they know are coming into the prison. And they're doing that because it's a way to kind of keep the prison population docile. So not only are they allowing the contraband in, allegedly, they're also chemically infusing it with another potent opioid to keep the prison population calm. And as a result, some of these prisoners who were exposed to this type of environment are being released with problems, habits, epidemics, and they're having to actually kick. Now, this kind of piqued my interest because I'm like, what do you mean opioids in prison? And when you're talking about these opioids in prison, I'm like, how do you even get a drug in prison that can be sprayed with something that you ultimately look up and find out you're addicted to? Once you get released, you got to find a way to get off this stuff. And you're likely on parole. So how do you really explain that? So this was really interesting to me. And when I did some research, I found out that the rising percentages of deaths due to drugs and alcohol from 2001 to 2018 in prison went up 600%. So not only are they getting alcohol in prison, they're getting drugs in prison as well. And there are actually prisoners who are ODing on that stuff. How? You're in prison. Oh, let me slide over to my chat. I see you, Danny Myers. Thank you so much for pulling up. I appreciate you. You are one of my favorite battle rappers, so this really means a lot that you pulled up to Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion, just to hear what I got to say on my 4th episode. So thank you so much. All right. So as I was saying, back in this study that they did from 2001 to 2018, drug and alcohol overdoses in prison went up 600%. Now, when you get to 2019, here is where we begin to kind of get into an epidemic of the C19, if you guys know what I'm saying. Okay. So C19 comes along and they are saying that we are in the throes of an opioid epidemic. Okay. So externally in society, we have this opioid epidemic going on where we have pharmacies getting shut down. Doctors are losing their licenses because they out here handing it out like candy, right? The strange thing is that inside prisons, they are also seeing an increase in opioid use in 2019. So once you go from 2019 and move into 2020, you're in the throes of an opioid epidemic coupled with C19. Okay. In this point, the use of alcohol and drugs goes up in prison. So where we're supposed to be practicing staying away from each other, we're supposed to be practicing even tighter safety precautions. We're seeing not only in society are the drug usage going up, but we're also seeing that mimicked in prison. How, Sway, is this happening? How is this happening in prison to where you have the drugs are even getting in there and then they're being used and you have prisoners ODing on them? Like, when you start to really kind of pull this apart to see what's going on, you have to kind of look at what percentage of these ODs are being attributed to fentanyl usage, considering that the opioid usage went up. So when I did that, it turned out that 70% of OD deaths due to drugs was due to fentanyl usage. So if everybody who had an OD, 70% of those people had fentanyl related deletions. Okay. So now you've got 3 epidemics that they don't really want to kind of point out as being commingled. The first one is your opioid epidemic in itself. That's when you had Methany and Destiny Child and them. You remember them? And then you have your you have people who were using or drinking lean. So all of this stuff is kind of going together. Then you come in with the C19. Then you have a explosion of a specific opioid and fentanyl, and it's showing up in your prisons. And now you have people who are getting released from prison who have habits from drugs they didn't know they were taking. Okay. So this brought to me a thought process of, if this is happening with just fentanyl, this to me sounded a lot like an experiment in prison. Okay. And if they're willing to experiment in this way, I can just imagine what else they're experimenting on when it comes to their diet, what they're eating, certain environmental controls that prisoners don't really have control of. I'm sure there's experiments there, allegedly, but this is Nacho's opinion. Not your opinion. And I think that's what's going on. I certainly think that they are feeding our prisoners foods that will absolutely irritate their behavior, try to disturb their behavior, manipulate their behavior. And I don't think that that's something we can overlook. What people don't understand, when you are taken into prison as a prisoner, when you look at your constitutional rights, you are a free person until you are convicted of a crime and put in a prison. There you become a slave. And that is the truth in 2023, not something that was abolished. I'm talking about an active truth and law. So make sure you check that out in your constitution. You are a free person. You are not a slave until you go to prison. So I do believe that they are doing things to our prisoners that are is manipulative to their diet, manipulative to their mental state, and they are being released back into society. Instead of being corrected, they are coming back with addictions they didn't know they had, having to kick things they really can't explain how they even got hooked on. It's deep. And I think we need to make sure that, you know, if we are expecting the prison systems to work and be of use, we can't treat the people in there like free experimental lab rats. That's not the case for everybody that's in there. So, you know, you got people that you plan to reintroduce back into society. It's probably not a good idea to be experimenting on them, you know. And I'm not laughing because I think it's funny. I'm really just kind of appalled at how, you know, our people get used and we get manipulated in ways that aren't as obvious that hit us, like our diet. We don't realize that they play with us in our diet and then try to put us back into society with all these problems, not realizing, you know, we didn't even know we should even expect this. So the veggie nacho today, I implore you guys to look into what's going on in our prison systems. They are not rehabilitating people as we expect that they should. That's my opinion. Now, and we are on Nacho Sundays, where is Nacho opinion is Nacho's opinion. That's right. So I want to make sure that I'm not trying to put words in anybody else's mouth. This is just how I feel on Nacho Sundays. And I feel it's crap. You shouldn't be able to experiment on prisoners who you expect to reallocate back into society. You're putting them out there without the tools that they need to really function in a way that society would expect them to function, when y'all really the ones who really know what's going on, because you know what you did. So I'm going to slide over to my chat. I saw Danny Myers in my chat earlier. I appreciate him pulling up. I saw you, Clips, for pulling up. Thank you so much. Let's see. Lou Kane. Okay, Lou, thank you for pulling up. While I'm taking a break on my and pulling up with my chat, I want to make sure you guys are hitting Dave, EBL Dave up. It is his birthday today, and we are definitely dedicating our episode 4 to Dave for his birthday. He we're running up his Cash App. It's $Dave312. And we are also roasting Dave. So it has been a Dave roast all day. I've definitely got my roast on this morning. I also pulled up a little bit this afternoon. After we are done on Nacho Sundays, I definitely plan on going back over to EBL and Discord and roasting him some more. And if I can really encourage somebody to start a Twitter space, because, you know, sometimes the technology escapes me on how to run and control all of that stuff all the time. If I can get somebody to do it, I'm going to talk somebody into starting a Twitter space, and we're going to finish roasting Dave for the rest of the evening. It's only right. So happy birthday, Dave. We plan on cooking you some more. I can't wait to talk more about your hairline. You got the only hairline I know of held up by its own kickstand. Your hairline gives people the middle finger on a daily basis, and I want to talk about it. So happy birthday, Dave. Let's make sure we run up his Cash App. Yes, Nicole, I see you. She said hit that like button. I hope you guys are listening to her. She put it in capital letters. Let's make sure that we are sharing FiboNACCI Brown's Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's not your opinion on your platforms. Let's grow this platform. I love pulling up with you guys on Sundays and talking about hot things that are going on that we can devour in our nacho on Nacho Sundays. Yes, Wayne, we are the projects. They think that they can just do whatever to us, and they're going to find ways to make it acceptable by waiting for us to not ask questions. So the less that we ask, the less that we inquire, the more they're going to get away with. So I implore you to be able to look into what's going on in our prison systems with the way that those prisoners are being treated, and really just period, you know, check into what the government is sometimes is stamping as okay for us to eat and okay for us to do and okay for us to keep ourselves healthy. It doesn't hurt to ask questions and look into it. You should have your own experience with the information. So moving into the latter part of our show, we are going to call this portion of our show the Nacho Supreme. in the Nacho Supreme, this is the knowledge portion where I give you knowledge nuggets, things that I feel like I could have used when I was younger or that have helped me throughout life in order to be able to make smart decisions and develop good habits. And in this week's Nacho Supreme, I want to talk to you guys about making the decision to go to college in 2023. Okay. Now, let me give my disclaimer because this is Nacho Sundays, whereas Nacho opinion is Nacho's opinion. And I feel a way about going to college in 2023. I don't think that we give enough options to our young people when it comes to being able to develop the skills that are necessary to fulfill or be fulfilled and live a successful life. I don't think that we encourage the skills that we used to back when they had vocational classes in high school that you could go to, during as a part of your curriculum. We don't encourage our electricians, our plumbers, our carpenters. And even though we're all going to need a place to live and a way to flush the toilet and a light switch to cut on. So I think sometimes our expectations of college are overrated. Okay. And if you're not going to be maybe like a doctor, lawyer, certain engineers, it might not be a bad option to look into getting a certificate or being certified in a trade. There is a large attachment financially when it comes to going to college. If you are unable to get a scholarship that covers your college education, or unless you are able to really afford paying out of pocket in a college education, you're going to have to likely get financial aid. So if it's no scholarship, if it's not paying out of pocket, getting that financial aid, sometimes we are being expected to understand the nuances involved in a financial aid contract prior to us even taking an accounting class that teaches us what a debit and a credit is. And, coming out of high school saying, yeah, I'm going to sign this contract, you don't even realize that when you sign a contract saying that you are going to accept financial aid to go to college and use that to pay for college, many of us haven't even had children by the time we've signed that contract. And we don't realize that that contract makes us more obligated to it, or obligated to it longer than we're obligated legally to our own children. So where your legal obligation with children ends at 18, you are obligated to a financial aid contract for 25 years before they will even consider any kind of breather for you to come up off of it. So I know in the recent couple of years, there have been some bills passed where there's been some financial aid relief. However, financial aid itself as an option to cover college, if that's what you have to do, I really just implore you to think about it longer. Think about it before you tie yourself financially to that. The student loan, it's a very tricky and different type of debt. Okay. You can go in debt in a marriage, okay, and get divorced. You can go in debt with a vehicle, and the vehicle can get repossessed. You can go in debt with a house, and the bank can come and reclaim your home. You can owe student loans, and you just owe student loans. There is no relief that will allow you the separation as with other debts. There's no, you can't divorce a student loan. A student loan can't be repossessed. The bank doesn't come back and take your education from you. They keep you tied to it in a way that will affect every move you want to make for your future. If you want to buy a home, they're going to look at your student loan debts. If you want to buy a vehicle, they're going to look at your student loan debts. Mind you, you could have perfect payment history on other credits outside of student loans, meaning you could pay your car note on time, you could pay your rent on time, you could pay your phone bill on time, all of these things, insurances, credit cards, you can pay all of these things on time, and those student loans will hit you in a way that made it look like you didn't make any effort in those other areas. So in thinking about college and thinking about making that step, really think about what is a student loan. Okay, when you even, to me, and again, this is Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. A student loan, to me, the phrase itself is an oxymoron. Okay, because if you're a student loan, where are my bailout parents, or where are my bailout teachers? If I'm the student, how do you student loan? Like, make it make sense. It really sounds like it sounds like something somebody made up in a hurry to be able to just get to the money. Let's hurry up and get them obligated to this contract. We'll call it a student loan. Like, it just sounds like an oxymoron. It doesn't sound like it makes sense. Why would you give a student a loan? It doesn't compute. So if you are considering college, make sure that you are going to college for something that will absolutely benefit you in a way that doesn't obligate you more to the debt than the passion of the education. And that's just my opinion. Again, this is Nacho Sundays, where it's not your opinion, it's Nacho's opinion. I don't like debt. So I'm going to share with you what I wish someone would have shared with me. My parents bought the romanticism of go to college and it's going to guarantee that you get this great job, that you'll be able to pay back all of your student loans. Lies. Okay. If you're going to go, like I said, doctor, lawyer, specific engineers, things that require those specificities. Yes. But if you can get certified in something, listen, certifications, they cost a lot less money. Okay. And it's a fraction of the time. 10 months. And by the time your friends are graduating in college, they can come work for you. So it's just to it's something to consider. I don't think that the skilled trades, the vocational trades, I don't think they get enough credit for the lifestyles that they are able to create and the ways that they are able to provide getting that bag. I think that also today, with the technology moving in the way that it's moving, it wouldn't I don't think it's a bad move to consider some of those fields as a way to secure a good financial future. A lot of the fields that are opening up right now are cyber and tech fields. So it might not hurt to look into that if you're trying to go to college and major in philosophy or liberal arts, things of that matter. I know a lot of, when I talk to people about going to college, they ask me about my college experience, because a lot of the people that I looked up to as far as motivation for going to college didn't have college degrees. So once I really processed that, it really motivated me to go in more of an entrepreneurial direction. And I think that it's important that we make sure our young people understand that choice is out there. They don't have to be forced into college because of some romantic ideologies that somebody gave them about what college was going to be. If you want to just network and be able to create those relationships and just have the whole experience, I get it. I understand that in order to pledge and do that kind of stuff, you got to go to college. If that's what you want to go for, it's an expensive ticket, but hey, do you? Nacho wouldn't do it at all and this is Nacho Sundays, where it's Nacho opinion is Nacho's opinion. I'm not going to college just to be able to pledge for anybody's fraternity. I would much rather be certified in something that I can sharpen over time and pass down to generations after me. So that the knowledge nugget in the Nacho Supreme of Nacho Sundays is to look into other skilled trades as an option after high school, instead of thinking that you have to take out financial aid to go to college. Now, if you have a scholarship, or if you are able to out of pocket pay for college, great. But if financial aid is an option that you must use in order to be able to have a college education, please look into other options, such as getting certifications. You can get certified in some things in as little as 10 months, and it's a fraction of the cost, and you come out with all of the bag. So I'm going to slide over to my chat again. I see. Okay, King is back in my chat. What's going on, King? I see you, Cash. Hey, Cash, as he would say in his voice when he tells me, hey, Nachi. Hey, Cash. Thank you for pulling up. We are at the end of our Nacho Sunday show. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and lending me your ears. And before we go, I just want to say that, it was brought up in my spirit to just let Dave's hairline know one more time that we're going to work on getting him some hair. I'm trying to see if I can DoorDash you some bundles over there. We're going to fill up the first half of your forehead, and we're going to get the next half after we count up the birthday money to see how successful we were in raising money to fill in the rest of Dave's afro. Dave's afro is at half loaded. It's still loading. We hoping by the end of the night we can get that thing full all the way up. We'll know it's full when it meets the widow's peak. If we are not able to get the DoorDash bundles over there, we are definitely going to turn to spray hair. I know you guys know what the spray hair is. They've been using it on the beards. We are getting it for Dave's hairline. So we're closing out the show with that in mind. And make sure you run up Dave's Cash App with $DAVE312 for his birthday. Happy birthday, Dave. Thank you for tuning in to Nacho Sundays. I appreciate each and every one of you. And make sure you're pulling up to Wave and Blaze Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. Till 9 a.m. or really I should just say until. You'll be able to see Dave and his hairline every Monday through Saturday, starting at 7 o'clock in the morning. Me personally, I don't think the Dave roast has to stop on his birthday. So if you want to pull up on Monday to let Dave know how you feel about his hairline, I think you should, because I'm definitely going to. I'm not going to be out of jokes and probably until the end of the week. So pull up to Wave and Blaze Monday through Saturday, starting at 7 a.m. Make sure you come back here on Sundays at 6 p.m. to see Nacho Sundays. And that's going to be with me, FiboNACCI Nacho Brown, where's Nacho Opinion is Nacho's Opinion. We are also launching 2 new shows on the EBL network. And one of those shows has already launched, I believe, earlier this week. That's King's Court with EBL King. Make sure you pull up for that. I enjoyed that show. King is not going to hold back. Anything goes. His shows are known for Royal Rumble. So if you are looking to be thoroughly entertained, make sure you pull up to King's Court. We are also going to be having a late night show with EBL Brills. Brills is going to be hosting Late Night L's. So stay tuned to the EBL network to find out when we will be having those show times. And also, don't forget about our events. We have got the 2v2 card on EBL coming up, where we have teams of 2 who are going to be competing for a pot. That pot will go to the best team of the night. Then we also have on April 16th, EBL is going to be bringing back their 3-round battles. So we already know that EBL is the #1 audio battle league. We know that you can come here and definitely catch a great one-on-one or 1-round battle, but EBL is going to bring back those 3-round battles. I can't wait to pull up for that battle. That's going to be in the swing of spring. So I'm looking forward to that. Make sure you guys are tuning into EBL for future announcements. Let me also bring up our family over at Is We Poddin'. Is We Poddin has their podcast, The Fourth Round, where they are doing amazing interviews. If you haven't checked their Danny Myers interview, please head over to The Fourth Round to make sure you see that. Danny Myers has some call outs in that interview that I'm sure will pique some of you guys' interest. I know it raised my eyebrow. And they are also looking to have future interviews with none other than A Ward and another future interview with C3. So make sure you are following our Is We Poddin family over at The Fourth Round to check out those interviews. Mind you, the Danny Myers interview is already out there. Make sure you're pulling up for that. Run the numbers up on there. Run the numbers up on Is We Poddin, and run the numbers up on FiboNACCI Brown. And before I go, I also want to plug myself. I have a book out. That book is called Growing Down: An Observation of the Masculinization of the Black American Woman. You can get your copy over at FiboNACCIBrown.com. That's FiboNACCIBrown.com. Right now, there's an introductory price of $19.99. Shipping is $4. And I will be personally autographing these introductory copies. After that, the price will go back to regular price, and we will definitely be charging more for the autograph copies. But head over there now where you can get them at the introductory price of $19.99. We are going to go ahead and close out our show. Thank you again for pulling up. Thank you, chat. Thank you, Diddy. Thank you, Nicole, King, Cash. I see you guys. We out of here.
We appreciate everybody for stopping by. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button. And don't just watch the battle. Be part of the battle. All you got to do, look in the description, click the link to the Discord, be part of the audience live.